Dear friends, welcome to Infos. Welcome to another video from Oil and Gas Training. Video 61, Pump Part 3, Performance of Centrifugal Pumps. So in this video we are discussing about various relationship between head and capacity, performance of centrifugal pump, mainly how the pump is working and what are the different difficulties facing in pump operation, design conditions, head and capacity, then net positive suction head, cavitation. So these are the important information on centrifugal pump we will discuss today. So in this slide you can see that one, it's a performance curve, head versus capacity is here. So we can see that one what we can what information we are getting from this performance curve. The curve is used by engineers to determine the suitability of a given pump for a particular duty. So we can see that one, it is Q versus H, that is head versus capacity. So this is the optimum conditions is there, and it can vary in various stages, various conditions that we can see that. So here the Q is capacity is decreasing and head is slightly increasing. So then it is also be useful to pump operators to check if pumps are performing correctly to their design specification. So that is also here, and you see the Q is when Q is decreasing, head is slightly decreasing also. So see this is the performance from the various, it is varying from design conditions from the vendor. So head and capacity is reducing, and the curve is how the curve is performing. See, look like this. So these conditions will help the operators and troubleshooting personnel to fix that when the pump is working efficiently, or it need a servicing or any internal part damage, etc. We can take it. The head capacity curve can be used to illustrate two important properties of a centrifugal pump. One is the discharge from a centrifugal pump may be throttled without causing damage to the pump. So the discharge of a centrifugal pump may be throttled, or we can close fully. The flow discharge valve we can close either in throttled condition or it fully closed without causing damage to the pump. See, the discharge is slightly reducing, that one. See, it is then the head is also same, and see how it is the discharge valve closing, it is going to back, and head is not much reducing, that one, it is fully shut off. This is why when the centrifugal pump is before starting, discharge valve is recommended to close, and once the head pressure is maintaining and stabilizing, then discharge valve is slightly opening, not completely open, slowly open to without losing the discharge pressure. So from this curve, that is we can identify that one. So even though discharge valve is closed fully for some time interval, it will not affect it will not damage the pump internals. The second property we can discuss here is total head is developed is not affected by the specific gravity of the liquid being pumped. So it is a brine solution, then water, then it is oil. So no much changes in the head is developed. It is not depending on specific gravity of the liquid. So one more curve is there, system curve. It is the relationship between flow and hydraulic losses in a system. The point where the pump operates on its curve is depend upon the characteristics of the system in which it is operating. By plotting the system head curve and pump curve together, it can be determined. So where the pump will operate on its curve, or what changes will occur if the system head curve or the pump performance curve changes. Let us see some of the conditions that one. This is the ideal condition, head and flow rate. This is the pump curve. Earlier we explained that one. This is a system curve, and this is the throttling curve. So let us see how a condition is a condition a pump is running no static head, only friction loss is there. In that case, see, the pump curve is system curve and pump curve is identical, and here system curve and throttle curve is there. It is crossing the pump curve at this point. See how this is changing in the when static head is attaining in a positive head. So it is a positive head is H is attaining here. So in that one, see, the flow rate is slightly increasing the head. See, it is starting from not in from the zero, it is starting from the higher side. So rest all the same. Now this is the positive static head, system curve and operating curve is plotted. Now another one is a negative gravity head. In the negative curve, see, this is the difference between system curve and the flow rate is starting from much below the 0 point. Negative head is creating. Another one is mostly lift little friction head. Here it is the see the friction head is lifted here in this point, so it is starting from here. So the pump curve is here and it is crossing here. System curve and pump curve is starting crossing in this point. Another important point we have to discuss here in positive centrifugal pump is net positive suction head and cavitation. So the first one we will discuss NPSH. So NPSH required is the positive head in feet absolute required at the pump suction to overcome all pressure drops in the pump and maintain the majority of liquid above its vapor pressure. So NPSH is required is the positive head required at the pump suction, overcome all pressure drop in the pump, inside the pump, and maintain the majority of the liquid above its vapor pressure. So liquid has a vapor pressure. So in case NPSH is suction head is lower than the vapor pressure, so it will try to cavitate inside the pump volute. So to avoid that one, we always maintaining suction head is greater than vapor pressure of the liquid. So NPSH is required varies with the speed and capacity within any particular pump. Pump manufacturer's curve normally provide this information. So one more important definition, NPSH is available. So it is a function of the system in which the pump operate. It is the excess pressure of the liquid in feet absolute over its vapor pressure as it arrive pump suction. So it is the excess pressure of the liquid in feet absolute over its vapor pressure as it arrive the pump suction. So one more point is there in cavitation. So it takes place as the following. The pressure of the liquid is reduced to a value equal to or below its vapor pressure. Whenever the suction pressure is equal or below its vapor pressure, cavitation is possible to start. Another point is the liquid begin to boil and small vapor bubbles or pocket begin to form. Third one is as these vapor bubbles move along the impeller vane to a higher pressure area above the vapor pressure, they rapidly collapse. Fourth one is as these vapor bubbles move along the impeller vanes to a higher pressure above the vapor pressure, they rapidly collapse. So it is, I think, the same point repeating. In high suction energy pumps, the collapses are generally high enough to cause minute pocket of fatigue failure on the impeller vane surfaces. Cavitation will continue. Now we will go back to the clear up some of the confusion. The capacity of the pump is reduced. How it is reducing? This happened because the bubble takes up the space and you cannot have bubbles and liquid in the same space at the same time. If the bubble gets big enough, at the eye of the impeller, the pump will lose its suction, will require priming. Another one is the discharge head is often reduced. Bubble, unlike liquid, are compressible. In this compression, that can change the head. The bubbles form a lower pressure area because they cannot form in a high pressure area. You should keep in mind that one, as the velocity of fluid increases, the pressure of the fluid decreases. This means that high velocity liquid is by definition a lower pressure area. This can be a problem at any time in a liquid flows through a restriction in the piping, volute, or changes in direction suddenly. The fluid will accelerate as it changes the direction. The same acceleration takes place as the fluid flows in the small area between the tip of the impeller and the volute cut water. A noise head. The priming, so cavitation can create a big noise. Anytime a fluid moves faster than the speed of a sound in the medium you are pumping, a sonic boom will be heard. The speed of the sound in water is 4,800 feet per second or 3,273 miles per hour. Pump parts show damage. The cavitation create internal parts will damage. The bubble tries to collapse on itself. This is called imploding. The opposite of exploding. The bubble is trying to collapse from all sides. If the bubble is laying against a piece of metal such as the impeller or volute, it cannot collapse from that side. So the fluid comes in from the opposite side at this high velocity, preceded by a shock wave that can cause all kind of damage. This is a very characteristic round shape to liquid as it bangs against the metal, creating the impression that the metal was hit with a ball peen hammer. Another is pump parts show damage. This damage would normally occur at a right angle to the metal, but experience shows that the high velocity liquid seems to come at the metal from a variety of angles. This can be explained by the fact that dirt particles get stuck on the surface of the bubble and are held there by surface tension of the fluid. Since the dirt particle has weakened the surface tension of the bubble, it becomes the weakest part and the section where the collapse will probably take place. So cavitation continue. The higher the capacity of the pump, the more likely to cavitation will occur. High specific speed pumps have a different impeller shape that allows them to run at a high capacity with less power and less chance of cavitating. The impeller is normally found in a pipe-shaped casing rather than the volute type of casing that you commonly see. The cavities form for 5 basic reasons, and it is common practice to lump all of them into general classification of cavitation. This is an error because of to correct each these conditions, you must understand why they occur and how they fix them. In no particular order they are: vaporization cavitation, air ingestion cavitation, internal circulation cavitation, flow turbulence cavitation, vein passing syndrome cavitation. Some of them we will discuss here. So the way to prevent the undesirable effect of vaporization cavitation, in standard low suction energy pumps are NPSH available, that is net positive suction head available, should be greater than NPSH required. High suction energy pumps require an additional NPSH margin above the NPSH required. Hydraulic Institute standard suggests NPSH margin ratio to form 1.2 to 2.5 times the NPSH required for high and very high suction energy pumps when operating in allowable operating range. NPSH and suction specific yield. specific speed. In designing a pumping system, it is essential to provide adequate NPSH available for proper pump operation. Insufficient NPSH available may seriously restrict pump selection or even force an expensive system redesign. On the other hand, providing excessive NPSH available may needlessly increase the system cost. Some specific speed may be provided help this situation. So these are the equation here, and specific equation we can find it out. S equal to N by NPSH required. N is the flow rate and NPSH required is we can calculate the specific speed of the pump. How to stop vaporization cavitation? There are a number of methods is there by increasing the suction head. In that one, raise the liquid level in the tank, elevate the supply tank, put the pump in a pit, reduce the piping losses, retrofit the pump with a higher specific speed impeller, install a booster pump or inducer, pressurize the tank, be sure the tank vent is open and not obstructed. Some vent can be freeze in the cold weather. So these are the important method to decreasing cavitation by increasing the suction head. These are the various this one. Next is by lowering the fluid inlet temperature also we can see. Injecting a small amount of cooler fluid at the suction is often practical. Insulate the suction piping from sunrise. Be careful discharge recirculation and ventilate recirculate to the pump suction. They can heat up the suction fluid. That is also possible. By decreasing fluid velocity also we can do that one. Remove the obstruction in the suction piping. Do not run the impeller to close to the pump cut water. Reduce the speed of the pump. Reduce the capacity of the pump. Do not install an elbow too close to the pump suction. So again, by reducing the net positive suction head required NPSH R, use a double suction pump. Double suction design can reduce the net positive suction head required as much as 27%, or some cases it will allow you to raise the pump speed at 41%. Use a lower speed pump. Use a pump with a larger impeller eye opening. If possible, install an inducer. These inducers can cut net positive suction head required by almost 50%. Use several smaller pumps. This half capacity pump can be cheaper than one large pump plus a spare. This will also conserve energy at a later load. So thanks for watching this video. We have some more modules pending in centrifugal pump constructional details and operational details plus control system and safeguards. Definitely we will coming with that videos soon. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day.